Thank you, Richard, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Sunil.
You were very prominent in the KPMG world, and I remember that you were an extremely charismatic. You are continuing to be charismatic, but you were very well known because you had made waves in the world when you were at KPMG. So when you had those times must have been quite stressful because you were growing the business, making new things happen. And you, in those moments of stress, where did you find your anchor? How did you find yourself being able to cope with all of this?
So, I was very fortunate. Um, right from forget about being the CEO even earlier, it was a very stressful life. See, the moment you get into consulting, advisory, accounting, whatever, it's not a 9 to 5 job.
Oh,
Your job starts at even 7 o'clock in the morning. There is no end time to it. So it's been stressful even in the small firm where I started, mid-sized firm, Ratan S. Mama and Company. It was very long hours, and I won't say stressful. I would say it was long hours. And I remember my father, who used to be a CEO in his time, he told me, "Why are you wasting your time? They don't pay you, and you join the corporate world, you'll get good salary, car, house, everything, and you can have a better life." But I was loved what I was doing. So actually, it was not a job for me. It was my way of life. I enjoyed it. And what I found was that in this whole thing, I found de-stressors for myself. One was my humor, which kept me going. Uh, um, I being in boarding, I was spent a number of years in boarding. So all the pranksters, things you learn, they never went away actually. And the other one was music, and the third one was just going for a very very long brisk walk when you're a little angry or whatever, and just take the steam out. So I found these two three de-stressors in my life, and that was my go-to place. The third one was, I never called it at that time higher purpose, but it was something which was beyond money, beyond financial recognition, titles. It was something higher. I didn't know what I would give it a name, which was not a name, but it was something that told me that I have got to do this in the larger interest of humanity. So that was with me very young.
amazing.
Right? That was very young, eh? And um I'll tell you one incident which happened, which completely changed my mind. I was like any other youngster. When I joined the profession, I wanted to go to Middle East, make money, build my own house, have
Hmm.
something like that. And said, okay, how do you make your life? And in fact, I got an offer, a very big offer, one of the big offers at that time. Uh, by mistake, actually, one of my clients saw me, bolta, this job is for you.
Hmm.
He made his secretary apply. And I got called for the interview. I got selected also. The only three people got selected. I was one of them. And I got the job. And then, unfortunate incident happened in my life that I lost my younger brother in a
Oh,
motorcycle accident. And that time we were what, 25, whatever, 26, so he was younger. And when I was at his grave, I said, if this is the end, what are we chasing?
beautiful.
And actually, that day, my entire interest in money went away. I had zero interest in money. Not to say that if it came, you would say no to it, but I had no interest to go after money. I would want to go after the role, go after doing good for society, good for. And this other incident which actually happened was in 2000, uh, 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 not 2000, yeah, around 2000, 2001 or something. I was invited by a client to a event where the slum children were performing. It completely moved me. I don't know, I had tears in my eyes. And by the evening was out, I said, I've got to support these kids. There's so much talent here. Who's paying? And I spoke to the organizer. They said, we're very happy if somebody can help us. So then I started supporting those slum kids. Every month I used to contribute to them for their education and everything else. And this one when I was not earning much money, by the way. So it was not that, I had lots of money to go and give, but I started. So that was my starting of giving back to society.
Amazing. How
And
old would you have been?
I would have been that time around maybe 29.
My God. That's
29, yeah.
That's the time we're all just striving to just make ends meet.
Yeah. So fortunately, I was living with my parents, so I didn't have a house problem. But there was always a financial problem. I mean, our salaries were not at all great. So
Yeah, I've noticed whenever I've met you, that you're very matter of fact and without any, airs. And given the fact that I'm sure that you already know that, there are a lot of people, you have a whole bunch of people who admire you a great deal, and you must have been subject to that admiration quite a bit. Doesn't it ever, didn't it affect you in any way?
So when I remember I was in class 6, and one of the statements my mother made to me, like we all came back from school, uh, class 6 or class 5, whatever, one of those in Kanpur, I remember. And that time my father had this big job, the first Indian general manager, had this huge house and lots of servants and, like whatever. So we came back from school and we started telling the servant, Pani lao, ye lao. Mother said, these are not your servants. They're your father's servants. And said, don't get them the water. Let them go to the fridge and get it. So that left such an impression on my mind. The humility part of it, that you don't need to try and be something you're not. So like they say now, the ceramic cup for you was is it that paper cup? What is your due? And I always say, okay, fine, whatever comes to me. Second very important thing, nobody taught me, but it just came to me. I sort of detach myself from many things. Like you said, matter of fact. So I'm not very attached to things, material things.
Okay.
So I have no attachment to a title, to a role. I know it's all temporary. It's going to go away one day. But while it's there, I enjoy it. So I will not shirk away from taking the perks which come with that role. So when I was a CEO, there were certain perks you got. I enjoyed it, knowing that one day when it goes, it's not mine. Second, very important, I learned, because I saw some of my seniors doing those mistakes, was that when you climb up the ladder, and for me, fortunately, it was quite at a good speed when it started happening, you get arrogant and you start thinking the world, just rotates around me. I realized that you got to respect these people, because one day you're going to come down and these same people are going to be there, maybe in your position. They will respect you then. So I've always respected people who I left behind in a race, or who were not at my position. I never ever looked down on anybody. Never, even an office boy for that matter.
I think that you tried to find a way to rationalize your way of being, but my sense is that it's very true to you that you are a very grounded human being. You don't, and I've spoken to people who know you well, and they said this has been you wherever you are, whatever position you had, whatever power you had, it didn't matter. You will still be the same, same chap.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.